Would you believe this is not Arizona, it's actually Maine?
We spent the last week obsessing over security mods, but not to have Bertha sit in her driveway. She's meant to come to places like this. Good morning from Wolfe's Neck Oceanfront Campground, although we're not on an oceanfront lot, up in Freeport, Maine, which is also home to LL Bean.
Yeah, and the desert of Maine.
Yeah, we weren't going to talk about that yet, but well, we've already. Oh, I'm not
we
sure.
already said it.
We did. We did tell people where we're going. So just off to check out this place. Has a cool little farm cafe.
Yeah, on Friday nights.
You can pre-order.
Yeah, brick oven pizza.
And you can see the brick oven they make it in.
You can watch the milk the cows every day.
Yeah, they actually walk the cows down across. I'll show you up here in a sec. Down to the fields. The fields are out there. The dairy barn's up there. And then they have a big kind of farm tent, I'd call it. Less of a store.
Yeah.
Stuff. Really nice lots around here all the time, taking care of stuff, clean. Pretty cool spot that we're in.
Yeah, nice and quiet.
Yeah, definitely. And along here.
You just gotta watch out for the cow path.
Yep. And the cow patties, they might be out there already.
Yeah.
You can walk in it.
I can walk in it?
Not in that part. Actually, we came when we were pulling in, they had the road blocked off because the cows were crossing.
Yep. And we couldn't figure out why.
Nope. So if you saw last week's video, or previous episode, you saw the camera system. So we're actually using it. Got one here, and come around back. I've got one up here to cover the back of the van. It's working really good. So Starlink's up on the roof, and just using the barrel as a repeater right now. And everything's working awesome. Really happy with it.
While this looks like a desert, it's not actually a desert. There's way too much rain in Maine for this to truly be a desert. What it is glacial sand deposits that were left here over 12,000 years ago.
So you can see behind me the sand below, the topsoil above it. So after the glaciers that Vicky talked about, over time, topsoil from just natural plants and what have you built up over the desert and actually covered it. And we'll talk about how it's actually discovered in a little bit.
As Pat talked about, all this land after the sand was deposited got covered with trees and you know what we think of traditional soils. And back in the early 1800s, with the Tuttle farm, there was Merino sheep were used to be controlled out of Spain, and there was a bunch exported into Vermont, not by legal channels. And with that, there was a huge boom of sheep farming, and because all of the land was covered in trees, they had to clear the land to be able to make pastures for the sheep, which they did. And with that, that brought in more winds to disrupt, and the sheep eating all of the grasses is actually what first exposed what we now know as the desert of Maine.
As Vicky just talked about, obviously with all that erosion, this is no longer a maintainable farm. By the late 1800s, the Tuttle family was actually forced to abandon the farm at that point. So Henry Goldrup, as we said, bought this for $400. At 28 years old, he figured people were willing to drive 2 miles down a rutted road to come see this unique desert away from the coast of Maine. He actually didn't charge the first year. He made all his money selling popcorn and hot dogs to folks to cover his expenses. But soon after, he realized he could charge and would make money. Not long after, at some point, Mark Palakowicz was another entrepreneur, offered to lease the land from Goldrup for 25 years and allow Goldrup to go off and he loved to hunt and fish. And he was actually friends with LL Bean. So he said, sure, I'll take that deal, and off he went. Until the lease was up. Mr. Goldrup was in his 60s, and he wanted to come back to his beloved desert and keep showing people what it offered. This is a spring house that we talked about, Mr. Goldrup, who bought the farm. Mr. Palanchik offered to run it for him, which gave Mr. Goldrup time to go off with his family, which he loved. One of the first things Mr. Palanchik did, though, was build a spring house, and this is actually the remnants of that spring house he had here. And we'll talk about Mr. Palanchik a little more in some other spots as we go and talk about some of the things he did. But this was the first thing he did. Plus he offered other things and really turned it into a circus.
So one thing, the dunes here are constantly changing. So this spring house, while built in the 30s, actually from the blowing sand was buried from World War II until they excavated this space back in 2020.
So Mark Palakowicz, unfortunately, was only able to run the farm for 8 years before he tragically passed away. But his wife Fan and daughters Elaine and Marvis took over the business and excelled at it and did a great job and ran it for the remaining years of the 25-year lease before Mr. Goldrup came back to run it. Obviously, with the invention of the Model T Ford, people were hitting the road, and as a result of people being on the road, they needed to build bigger highways. One of the first ones built in Maine was Route 1. And as we said before, Palakowicz and Goldrup, those being entrepreneurial men, saw the opportunity and seized it.
Look how big Candy was. Except Lifesavers, they're like the only things that haven't changed in size.
I don't know if they've shown up when we're walking around, but you may see these cutouts, which is for the kids' scavenger hunt of a red-haired, bearded little cartoon character that is actually based on a real guy named Charlie Coffin, who was from the area originally, Scotsman, had that fiery red hair, as they said. He was actually a vaudeville performer, but got tired of being on the road later in life, and actually decided to move back to Maine, where he built his little cabin, and he charged folks, I think it's at 15 cents, actually.
Yep.
Here's a little picture of him behind us. Let's see.
Come in, see his cabin, see his artwork.
Right over there. He would charge folks to come in and see his cabin. He put on performance of his Orgiano, as he called it. He took 2 organs and a piano and fused them together to make one instrument. So he was quite the character, and as a result, they feature him here at the Desert of Maine.
So while it's not cheap, it's a fun adventure. For adult ticket, it's $21 a person. They're only open in the summer. They're open every day of the week. And while you're here, it's a great place for kids because there's also mini golf, playground, and a bunch of other activities.
So if you're up in the Freeport area, this is definitely a place to come see.
Well, it's a little bit of a tourist trap. It's definitely interesting history to see.
Yeah, it's a fun spot. I'd recommend checking it out. So as we said, we're in Freeport, Maine. We'll talk a little bit about it later, but we just want to stop and tell you, like, there's the LLB and campus map behind us.
It's kind of small.
Yeah, it's their flagship campus. As you can see, not little. King's Head Pub, that's where we're going for lunch. So sorry for not finishing in Freeport yesterday. It ended up raining, so we kind of had to beat feet. We were outside eating lunch and made our way back here. Just chilled for the afternoon, watched some TV and relaxed.
Then it cleared up enough so that we could have an evening fire before getting in bed and having torrential rain last night.
So overall, it's nice to just be out and doing stuff and not doing installs. Not that we mind doing that stuff either. I think the systems worked well. We just got to get that cable run, the Ethernet cable for the barrel, so that's hardwired in, which will be great.
And one of the future projects is a space and a shelf to be able to mount, or back behind me, a place rather than consuming the limited counter space we have, all of the security equipment.
Right. So Desert of Maine, as we said, was fun. It's worth a stop.
Yep.
Freeport's a great little downtown if you get down there. So we're just wrapping up here, the rainy Sunday morning. Gonna head home. Well, drizzling. We got the door open now. And then we do have a few more installs before our big Shenandoah trip.
Yep. We got some things to get organized and together to be...
Make it a little more comfortable, a little more workable space as we're here editing and doing all those fun kind of things.
Yep.
So that's it. We're going to pack up the rest of the stuff, get the Starlink down, and hit the road.
Mosey on home.
Yep. So one last thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're trying to get to our goal of 500 subs. We're still at 332, I think, this morning. But we'll see how we do between when we're recording this and when it actually comes out. But it'd be great if you help out the channel. If you like this content, we do gear installs and other travel tips. So now, get out there and wander.
Bye.